Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our first panel of Comic Art Live. This, of course, is our fifth Comic Art Live, and Comic Art Live wouldn't be a show without my good friend Felix being a part of this show, helping me out, bringing great creators to these panels. And we've got a fantastic first panel to kick off the show. We've got Nic Klein here, courtesy of Felix. And Felix, again, you have been one of the biggest supporters of not only Comic Art Live, but of Comic Art fans since we've been working together. And I just can't thank you enough for doing this show with me and all the help and support that you've given me over the years on Comic Art fans as well. It's been a huge honor, having you in my corner with pretty much anything that I've endeavored to do with the site and with the live streams.
Not at all, Bill. And like I said, it's just paying it back just a little bit, for all the years of enjoyment I've gotten from Comic Art fans. And for better or for worse, this hobby wouldn't be where it is today if it hadn't been for Comic Art fans. I truly believe that.
Oh, Nick just dropped out of the chat. I'm sure he'll pop back in here. Well, I appreciate hearing. I like hearing that. It's I think you're, but it's kind of grown on me where I feel like I think you're right. I mean, if CAF wouldn't have happened, I don't think we'd still be in the dark ages of the hobby, but I think there's we've been able to grow a lot because of CAF's opportunities that has provided collectors and sellers and whatnot. So, but that's a conversation for another day. Oh, I think Nick is switching between his audio and it's dropping out his video feed at the same time.
He'll be back. So
yep.
I haven't really had a chance to look. How's Comic Art Live going?
It's going really well. I ran some stats about 20 minutes ago and we're already over 500,000 in sales. So that's pretty good for the first 2.5, less than 3 hours.
Wow.
And we're setting records on the number of artworks available. There's going to be over 5,000 artworks available this weekend for sale from a record number of sellers. I think we have 261 exhibitors right now as well. So it's I thought once cons came back, we might be in trouble, but we're not. It's actually catching on even better. So I think we're onto something here. But hey, listen, I am going to leave this to you, Nick. Like I showed you earlier, Thor, one of my top 2 characters in the Marvel universe for me. I appreciate you being here and enjoy the show. I'll be in the green room listening myself, and if you have any questions, I'll be highlighting comments. I don't know, Felix, if I mentioned it before the show, and Nick as well. There's tabs on the right-hand side to either do a private chat or comments. You want to have it set to comments. You can see the comments that those people in the audience are making as well. And I'll highlight anything that looks like a question or is just a fun comment from the audience.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks a lot for hanging out. And welcome, Nick. Welcome to your first panel. I know you're quiet, you're humble, you're reserved, and you tend not to do these things. And you told me beforehand you're a little bit nervous. So what's there to be nervous about? You're only in front of a worldwide audience of potentially millions of viewers, or if not millions, at least a dozen. And so let's see who we have here. We got ML. How you doing, ML? Sheldon Walsh, Robert Riley, Dino Mauricio checking in. How you doing, Dino? Mr. Easy Go Lucky, Victor Bracamontes, Mike Sitchy, Chris Snorek, James Roger, Mike Benham, Matt Moore, David Escani-Son, TAMD1, Ryan Peters, Dave Matheny, and more. Clinton Keener, Marcus Way, Matthew Todd. Thanks a lot, everyone, for showing up.
Thank you.
This is hopefully going to be fun. If nothing else, we're going to see a lot of really cool art. And thanks again, Nick.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been with us almost 4 years now.
Wow, that's a bit long.
It flies. And prior to coming to us, I know you've been working comics at least 10 years for a variety of publishers, both Marvel and DC, as well as independent creator-owned work, Viking and Drifter, which were have well received, have cult followings. But overall, I'd say you didn't really have a high profile amongst art collectors, and it had nothing to do with the art. It's just I think you were kind of working under the radar, and then you came to us, and I think within a year you got tapped to do Thor, to relaunch Thor, and it wasn't just coming onto the title. It was a relaunch with a new costume, new design, courtesy of you, with a very popular writer, Donny Cates. And at that time, you had been doing Deadpool, and you're playing with the ink wash. And
Right.
yeah, and you said, and we were talking about the art on Thor, and you were showing me some of those early pages. I was just blown away. And I said, dude, you don't need to do that ink wash. Like, most people, do that digitally these days. And he said, no, I think I'm gonna go for it. I really want these pages to stand out. And I don't know if it was necessarily to, for art collectors per se, but I know that was part of the rationale. And anyway, long story short, it couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, I think you presented your best effort on a high-profile book, and it's just completely taken off. We have sold every single page of your Thor run, and we're into the 20s now. Usually it starts slowing down, but there's been no let up at all. And during the course of this panel, I'm going to show off some pages of your latest Thor issue. Most of the audience may know I do an unboxing show on YouTube where I show off art that I've just received in the mail from the artist. And on the last episode, which was a week ago, I just got in a box from Nic. I showed off a few pieces, but not the Thor pages, because I wanted to save them for this panel. And Nic, you can tell us about the pages as we go. But anyway, long-winded way of saying great job. Congratulations, and very well deserved. And as a collector, thank you. Thank you for just giving it your all on each and every page. Like, not just the flashy, pages, but even the quiet pages. There's no shortcuts. So, bravo.
Thank you very much.
It's
I mean, you're all right with the. I didn't have to do the ink wash, but I really wanted to, bring everything that I can to the book, and I usually try to make it a decision to make each book that I do look different to the books before. So, but I think the ink wash worked for Thor because it has that kind of has a bit of a grittiness to it, and it adds just one more layer of value to it. I mean, not just value of time that I put into it, but like as in values, like as in gray is value, and that was a thought too, is like if I'm going to be working with the colors, because usually I color my own work, I want there to be more information so that the colorist has more to work with, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it worked out.
the art sales sort of validate that decision.
Yeah, and I think it's I mean, obviously I always think the work that you're doing right now is your best work, but I really do think it's my best work, and I'm really proud of all the issues that Dawn and me have done so far. I think it's been I mean, even if I say this myself, but I think it's been a great run. It's been a really fun run so far, and there's still lots to come. But yeah, there's some pages where I look at and I was like, wow, I can't believe I did this. Like, I can't believe I was crazy enough to do these pages. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm glad they were so well received so far.
And as you sort of hint, there's bigger and even better things to come.
Yeah.
Can you say any more?
Stay tuned. I could, but I probably won't.
Sorry to the audience, but I know a little bit, and it's very, very exciting stuff. And usually, you artists, you work on these books for a while. You get an itch to try something else, but I don't get that sense from you at all.
No, I'm happy being the Thor artist right now. I mean, plus there's so much stuff you can do with the character. I mean, the first arc we had kind of like a galactic tale with, like, different planets, and then we had like a kind of like almost like a horror kind of arc with Donald Blake, and then we had a more of a gritty arc with the God of Hammers, and we're going somewhere completely different in the new arc. So it's not really, it doesn't stop being awesome for me as an artist because I get to flex different muscles. Also, the longer you stay on something, the easier it becomes to draw. I mean, the characters, I can draw pretty much all of these out of my head now without looking at the designs I did. I just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like second nature now. So that's also a plus of staying on something for a long time.
But I guess you are getting to draw different things because Marvel also has you very, very busy on covers throughout their entire line. I think you, Ryan Stegman, Jeff Shaw, the other two guys I'm repping are doing just a gazillion Marvel covers, and we're going to show off some of them real soon. They'll be coming up for our San Diego FelixCon event, so this is a preview of that. But yeah, great job on the covers too. I mean, it was fun to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that flexes a whole different part of my skill set. Especially if I have time, then I can bust out the paints and do. I try to do that on the Thor covers too, but it's always a time thing, and do like the color direct, like color straight on the paper and paint, which is always nice and nerve-wracking at the same time. But
how do you decide which ones to paint?
I mean, that's a good question. Usually, if the cover image is too complex, I shy away from painting because you have to do a lot of visualization and thinking how you're gonna do stuff. But looking at the covers I've done recently, there's some really complex ones, and I've painted those too. So that's kind of doesn't always work either. I don't know. Just if I feel the itch to paint something, I don't know. Sometimes I just see it in color, and sometimes I just want to do it in black and white, and color and digitally. I don't know.
So it looks like the comment section is the chat is really flowing. So Bill, if you see any questions pop up, let us know. I mean, I'm going to try to leave a section for a segment for people to ask any questions they want. But just so everyone who's watching knows, we're going to be doing a little show and tell with some of Nic's art. Nic actually produced some sketches just for the panel for you guys to claim. Again, to help support Bill and comic art fans. Portion of that's going to be going to them. And yeah, that's kind of it. Maybe since we're talking about painting, maybe I'll show a piece now.
Sure. There was a question just there that I'd like to answer.
Okay.
It was asked if right after doing so much work in a Thor style, does Nic now have a feel for what the next work will look like? Usually, I try to see what fits to the character and the book that I'm doing. For Viking, I did like a very punkish kind of different styles mixed together, and for DEADPOOL, it's very, very bright, but also very loose kind of style, and for Thor was more of a rendered and more of a gritty kind of. So it depends on. I don't think about the style until I know what the project is going to be, and try to figure out what I think is best for that book and that character and that the story we're trying to tell.
And since you're going to be on Thor for the foreseeable future, this isn't something you got to think about just yet.
That's true.
Okay. So let's take a look at this piece. I showed this on Unboxing Art Show last week, but maybe some of you guys will be seeing it for the first time. Check out this Hulk, and you get a sense of Nic's colors. I mean, even within, it's a single color, so much gradation. Yeah. So Nic, what's this for?
Personal amusement.
Were you experimenting on this, or you just felt like drawing Hulk?
Both. Sometimes I just if I have like half a day, or not even half a day, a couple of hours, and I just feel a need to. Sometimes I just have a need to do something, and then I love drawing the Hulk because he's just big and clunky and green, and just didn't. I mean, it took a bit, but it was a very spontaneous piece. I don't know, it just needed to get out. Sometimes stuff just needs to get out on paper.
I think there's a Hulk Thor crossover going on, but you're not going to be doing much of that.
No, I'm
Well,
working on the next. I'm
hopefully-
working on the next longer arc.
Yeah, hopefully down the line. So this will be at San Diego Felix Con in about a month and a half. So, here you go. And let's take a look at another one, shall we?
Yeah.
Of course, Moon Knight, and you did a previous Moon Knight cover that I thought was like one of the best Moon Knight covers I've ever seen. And then you send me this, and now I can't decide which one I like better. But it's phenomenal, and different color scheme on the two. But this is
Yeah, the first one was for a Moon Knight black, white, and blood, I believe, and this is just a regular cover. But I'm not sure what it's going to be used for. I'm not even sure that you're supposed to be showing it yet.
oh whoops. Yeah, you send it to me. It's fair game. Okay, I can show the color pieces, and here we got straight up ink wash. This is of course the bounty hunter Wookiee from Boba Fett. I don't remember his name.
Black Chrysanthemum.
Bounty hunter Wookiee from Boba Fett.
Yeah, Black Chrysanthemum is his name, I think. Actually, I know it is, but I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. But
that just sounds vaguely racist. I don't even like to say it. So,
wow, okay.
I'm just
The
kidding.
Wookiee, though.
It's the Wookiee bounty hunter.
Yeah, he was fun to do. I like drawing fur and stuff.
Mhm.
I used to hate it, but now I kind of figured out a way that that I think looks good, and so yeah, that was a fun one.
Okay.
Also, who isn't a Star Wars fan, right?
Yeah. San Diego Felix Con coming up. And here's another one. This will get people excited. I mean, that's quite the combo right there.
Yeah.
Are the two of the hottest Marvel characters. And then you did this one ink wash, and then you got to scratch the painted itch with the same characters on this one.
Yeah, it's a two-parter, and
I mean, here they are side by side. How do you choose? Can you choose? I mean, I think they're both killer to me. I love them both.
yeah, man, Venom is fun to draw, especially that tongue of his.
And with that, let's do our first claim, Bill. So you know the shtick. It's how it's ordered, how we see it, and we can go sketch number one. Do you have it? Do you have it on you, Nick? You can.
Well, I don't know which one you're showing first, so I do have them on me now.
Let Bill pull up the slide, and then you can show it.
Now,
Okay?
yeah, the only thing I didn't do, Felix, on this was I didn't put a price on them. So when we say like the first one, want to say what you'll able to say this is the first one and the price is blah, and then I'll pull up the
I
slide.
want to see if someone proactively claims, and I'm going to say some ridiculous price and make them stick to it. Okay.
Yeah, like James Roger there, who's claimed it already. I think he's been trying to claim everything that we've shown.
$5,000 sketch, James Roger. It's about approximately 8 by 12. So the art is still in Germany. Nick is in Germany. The art is still in Germany with Nick. He will send it to me with the next patch, and I will get it right out to you. And hopefully my track record speaks for itself. You don't have to worry about not getting it as long as I get it from Germany. But anyway, this is sketch number one. It's approximately 8 by 12, and it's $250. And of course, it's a Thor bust looking over his shoulder, looking like a badass.
Beautiful. And yep, as you saw, there lots of claims came in. I'm just going to wait a second to make sure nothing nests out of the ordinary here, because I'm sure everybody thinks they're first. But the one that got this one is Geeks and Drinks. Came in ahead of Sheldon and Matthew and Marcus and Rich and Eternals and Hunter and Peter Rowe.
Okay.
So Geeks and Drinks got that one.
You know who Geeks and Drinks is?
I do not, but we will. What everybody needs to know is if you've claimed an artwork while we're showing these today, I'll be showing Felix's contact email throughout the show, and I'll just want everybody to make sure that after the show is over, Geeks and Drinks, you need to email Felix, and he will arrange accepting payment, getting your contact information so that this artwork can be mailed to you once it arrives from Nic.
All right. Thank you, Geeks and Drinks. Thanks for everyone who tried. But don't worry, we're going to pepper in a couple more throughout the panels. You have more chances. You got to stay on your toes. All right. So this is next art we're going to show is the debut of Nic's latest Thor issue. It's Thor 24. A little spoilery, but the issue's actually been out a few weeks already. So hopefully you've seen it, and you know it's not being spoiled for you. But Odin has died, and this is the remembrance issue, and it's a tribute issue. It's actually an extra long issue. I think legacy numbering is 750, maybe.
Yeah, it is
750. Okay, and then it's like a double, maybe even triple sized issue. Nic's story is bookends, and they brought in you know, all the former Thor artist greats, led by, of course, the greatest, with all due respect, Nic, Walter Simonson.
Yeah.
So fantastic issue, and real honor, Nic, to you know, for it to be during your run, and for your art to sort of sandwich those tribute stories. But
I mean, what is better for a Thor fan to have, you know, my artwork be in the same Thor book as Walter Simonson? I mean, that's crazy just to think about it.
it's awesome. And this is the cover, a Viking funeral for a king. And you have a little piece of patch art here, which you could kind of explain to people what this was.
Yeah, when we I mean, covers get solicited months before an issue comes out, so we didn't want to spoil the story for the readers. So obviously on this cover there's a funeral pyre, and we didn't want to spoil who died. So we put Odin, which you see on the small patch piece, in the crowd where Beta Ray Bill is on the full cover.
Right here.
And that's what we released as a kind of a red herring cover. And I kind of changed the figure on the pirate a little bit to look more like Beta Ray Bill's kind of like head a little bit more. So just to have readers guessing. And that was a fun thing because people were like, "Oh my, don't kill Beta Ray Bill," or who's going to die? You know, we didn't just, I mean, after a while after a couple of months, it became apparent if you're reading the book who died and who's going to die. But at the point we did this, we you know, we didn't want to spoil it. So that's why there's that extra piece of Odin right there.
So the other art I showed you before this is earmarked for San Diego FelixCon. The Thor 24 art, including this cover and the patch art, which will go with the cover, is going to be dropped this week. So you're getting a sneak peek at our next drop right now. And if you've followed along, you know, all the art we've dropped previously has sold, and a good number of the issues have also sold complete. This really isn't a complete issue because you know, it's got other people working on it, but so we're breaking up, and we're making all the pages available. And it's kind of oh no, it's as crazy it may sound, but if you've been paying attention, if you follow on, this is kind of a rare opportunity. So this is page 1 splash. Just tell us what's going on here.
This is when the story starts off, and we see Thor's reading out the Book of Kings, and it's the first shot of him before we see the turnaround of the funeral was it procession? Procession. Yeah. And it's Thor, you know, it's basically Thor talking about his father, and this goes on for a few pages, and it's a pretty sad issue. I mean, there's not a lot of action, but it's drawing quiet moments is even harder sometimes, I think, to then doing cool action stuff. Yeah.
And this
I
is
mean,
this following page, as you're saying this. So this goes on, and Loki enters the scene.
yeah, Loki and his mother, and the whole Thor cast is there, and there's an interact. There's like a lot of like looks being exchanged between Thor and Loki and their mother, and even Balder and other characters. And if you read the issue, it makes more sense, obviously.
How detailed of a script do you get for this?
I think Donny wrote up most of the dialogue for this, which is of course helpful for a scene like this, because I try to evoke the emotions and the facial expressions and the body language. So it's good to know what they're saying, or at least if they're if it isn't the exact dialogue. Sometimes the dialogue obviously gets changed to fit the drawings, but at least to get a good idea of what's going on, it's helpful to have dialogue in the scenes. And I think he wrote the full dialogue for all of this. Yeah.
And there's Beta Ray Bill. You get your first look at him this issue.
Yeah, the top panel is Odin's death mask. He's got like because his body isn't really there. It's so it's kind of like a death mask, and it's got that gold armor. Yeah, we've got a shot of more of Thor reading, and then you get a shot of the crowd and the morning crowd and of the book.
Yeah, very powerful. You have this close up, this giant image of Thor, but you break it up with these inset panels so we see what's going on.
Yeah, and having a quiet scene, you can make a quiet scene interesting. You just got to put a little bit more thought into it. And this is where the book starts glowing, and then we start going into the stories. I think the first story was the Walter Simonson story, but I'm not sure. It might have been the Dan Jurgens one. But that's what the stories that are told are. It's kind of implied that they're in the Book of Kings, and that's when the stories are over, and he closes the book, and then we put Odin to his pyre, his galactic pyre.
A little bit of a redesign on your part.
The
Loki?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Well, not really. No.
Okay. Not like Thor.
No, not like Thor. And we changed his costume for this issue as well. It's kind of a variation of his regular costume, but it's all black. Or I'm not sure how. I think it was colored pretty much. Yeah, it's very dark. It's his morning outfit. Yeah, there comes Volstagg with the bow and arrow. I love drawing that guy. He's one of my favorite characters to draw.
You said Volstagg here?
Yeah, and I like him. I like the way he turned out in the top panel as well.
When you do the silhouette, do you draw out the entire figure and then black it in, or are you able to go?
Yeah. No, I draw the whole figure and black it in. I mean, you probably could do it another way, but for me, I have to construct the whole thing to make sure it works.
And here's a double page splash.
Yeah, that's Odin being sent off to space.
Yeah, I can't remember how many double page splashes there are on this issue, but your double page splashes are just awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, there's the one with the double page spray with that funeral procession.
Coming up, right? Okay.
That one.
And here he is firing the arrow.
Well, he should be, but he's not. Can't do it. He's got to ask his brother to help him.
We're at the halfway point, so let's do another sketch. Let's do sketch number 2, Bill.
All right, I will cue that up. Just when you say what the price is, I'll pull it up on the screen.
No claims until I say what the price is.
Yep.
Okay, so this is sketch 2, and Nick, you can see what it is and show us what it looks like in real life.
All right, and what do we want to go on the price before I show it?
Show it first. I'll tell people.
All right, here we go.
It's $250 again. $250 again. A very I don't know. He's like a bit of a pissed off Thor. So 8x12, $250, and I know we got some claims. I think I see Sheldon Walsh first. You tell me, Bill.
Yep, that is correct. Sheldon Walsh came in for Marcus, Ryan, Matthew, Rich, TMD1. Many claimers on that one, but Sheldon came in first. Thank you very much, Sheldon.
Congrats, Sheldon. So yeah, this is pretty rare opportunity. Nick doesn't do shows. He doesn't do any sketches. We've got a commission list that's been going on for several years. And you know, just let me say, thank you everyone for your patience on the commission list. We know it's taken, you know, a lot longer than we originally anticipated. And we took that list prior to Nick getting the Thor gig, which is sort of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it meant that he just hasn't had time to work on them, and so that's why the commission list is taking so long. But on the other hand, his profile has gone through the roof. So you better believe me when I tell you that if he takes another commission list, you know, after completing this one, those rates are not going to be the same. They're going to be considerably higher. I mean, considerably higher. So I always give people the option of just getting a refund if you don't feel like waiting anymore. And that's, believe me, no problem for us. You know, totally understand. But if you wait, I think it's worth the wait. If you've seen what he's turned in, what he's done, very much worth the wait. And yeah, if there isn't a chance, it's just going to cost a lot more. So that's sort of both sides of the coin for you guys. So these sketches are you know, this wanted to do something fun for the panel, and it's a pretty rare opportunity, and you know, also help support Bill and Comic Art Live. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for claiming. There are still 2 chances coming up, but on with the show. So yeah, Nick, I actually haven't read the issue, so why don't you tell us what's happening?
For shame. Well, Thor can't do it. He can't he can't fire the shot. So he asks his brother, who obviously doesn't want to do it either, but he steps up and he does it. He sets the pyre on fire. Oh, that rhymed.
Loki has no such compunction, huh?
No, he does, but he also knows he's got to help his brother, you know. And if he can't do it, one of the brothers has to do it. So sometimes you just got to, you know, do what's got to be done. And he's not doing it. You know, he's got his eyes closed. There's a tear coming out.
Yeah,
he's not enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm not. This is a sad scene. I'm laughing because Tim L has a funny comment. He says, "We all know Nick is the busiest working German not named Heidi Klum." So congratulations. Nick's not slacking. He's got that German work ethic. So you better believe it's not because he's slacking that he hasn't finished the commissions. I mean, look at all these. He's been nonstop with Thor and covers and everything. So, but you know, do appreciate everyone's patience on it.
Yes, I do, and I'm really sorry I haven't finished them, and but I will obviously get around to them. So thank you for the patience and hang in there.
Hang in there.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's that.
I love
Fire.
to incorporate the lettering into the art like that. You've
Oh
done
man, yeah, I love doing my own sound effects, incorporate into the art. And this is, you know, having the lettering be the frame of the panel. That's just a classic. That's a classic.
it's funny. There's well, and I mean, you do have characters on here. You know, you got Beta Ray Bill and Old Stag, but I mean, this is just such a striking page. You know, it's boom. Really frame this up. Just literally, boom.
Yeah, and Odin became the second son of Asgard. So there's not it's a you know it's a no the second sun and the second star as well. Second, so you know, yeah, and then the celebration begins.
Is this the second half? Are we in the second half of the story of your story now in the issue?
Oh yeah, when he closed the page where he closed the book, that's when the second half begins. Yeah. Do you want me to walk you through this?
Yeah.
Scene, or?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Obviously, it's nighttime, and Thor's alone, and but he's being taunted by none other than his father, who has you know taken rest in Mjolnir in the hammer for some reason, and the only one who he talks to is Thor up to this point.
So this page and this top portion is a perfect example of what I was talking about. How, you know, you don't skip anything. I mean, that's all ink wash to signify the night sky. When typically that would just be, you know, white space.
Right.
I mean, look, this is a quiet page, but look how beautifully it presents. You know, no shortcuts.
No, I mean, a page like this should look just as good as, you know, an action page. I mean, it's part of the same book, right?
And that's why every single page has sold. They're just gorgeous. I mean, you know, again, night sky, right?
Yeah.
This previous page.
I mean, this is stupid. I mean, I always try to, you know, put everything that I, you know, can do in an issue and put it into it, because this is a stupid thing, but I always says it has my name on the cover, you know, and I want, you know, I want my name to, you know, not to stand for something, but you know, I don't want to hand in half-assed work because, you know, it's my name under it, you know. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of a work ethic or pride in you know, taking pride in your own work.
Can you even imagine someone else inking over your pencils now?
I mean, I'm not going to say no, because that obviously, if I find an inker that, you know, we have the same mindset. Before Matt Wilson, who has been doing an amazing job on the book, I did not really think I would be that I could work with the colors, because I've been doing pretty much all my, except for, like, you know, one time, I've been doing all my colors myself, and it's a bit of a control freak thing, a bit of a perfectionist thing. I have you know, trouble letting go, but you know, Matt's just been doing amazing work, and so I'm not, and up to that point, I would have said I could never let anybody else color my work, and I've been proven wrong. So, you know, it depends. Obviously, it would depend on the inker.
I mean, given your workload, any temptation?
Not on Thor, because obviously the ink washes are part of what makes the book look the way it does, and that would just be, I mean, if I were to work, you know, just the logistics of it, I would probably have to have somebody ink it and then send it back to me so I can ink wash over that, and that would just be a absolutely logistic nightmare. So, but I'm not going to say no in the future. Depends on you, obviously. Depends on finding somebody who, if the project calls for it, and finding somebody who I click with. You know, that would be the. If there's no need for you know, if the schedule allows me to do it myself, then I probably would just keep doing it by myself.
Here we go, very dramatic page here.
Yeah, he's just getting annoyed with Mjolnir and his father now, and wants him to be quiet and leave him alone because he's dead. So why is he still bugging him?
So Odin occupies the hammer now.
Yeah. And he's haunting Thor.
You know, in one of the early issues, very early issues, I think 3 or 4, Thor has a vision of Thanos wielding the hammer, and the hammer's studded with the gemstones. Does that signify anything?
It most certainly does. That was issue 6, and that's when Thor saw his end, because the Black Winter shows everybody, if they want to, how they eventually will end, and that's what Thor saw. And yes, that obviously that has not been forgotten. That's something that's going to come up.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting, Nick.
Yeah, and there's Thor just arguing with Odin and basically telling him his peace of mind and telling him to leave him the heck alone.
Yeah, this is a similar expression to that sketch number 2.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I like doing facial expressions, and just acting in general is a fun thing.
And we're just about done here, so why don't we do our second to last claim, sketch number 3? If you're ready, Bill.
All right, I will bring it on screen, and you can announce the price, and we'll see who claims it first. Here we go.
You can hold it up, Nick. This is sketch number 3. There's a little bit more going on here. You can see there's a little lightning effect, more of a classic Thor face. So this one is $300. And no, I didn't bump up the price on these. Bill can confirm the exact same prices I said said they'd be. So what do we?
We had a lot of people want this one, and I'm scrolling up to the top to get the first one. It is Eternals got their claim in first, ahead of too many people to name.
Okay, so if I don't know Geek and Drinks, I don't know who Eternals is. These other people have names like Matt Todd and Mike Sitchy and Ryan Peters and James Roger and TAMD1. I know who you are, at least. Victor Bracamontes, Rich Cirillo, Sheldon Walsh claiming again. Greedy Sheldon.
Yes, but so I put Felix. This is the email you wanted people to contact you at, though, right, Felix?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, good. So that's the third of the fourth claims that we've got. We'll be doing the next one pretty soon here because we have another panel in 15 minutes. But if you were one of the 3 people who've claimed artwork so far, you can email Felix at felixcomicart@gmail.com and include your YouTube handle, and of course send him your mailing address when you do that as well, so he's got all your information.
I need your mailing address so that I can calculate the total to send you. But yeah, no muss, no fuss. And so our first panel was with Trad, and there's never going to be any art from Trad. And there's second panel with James. You know, same thing. You know, those guys just too busy, and they it's sort of hard for them to draw on command. But you know, Nick's German, so he follows orders. And
wow.
And then we had we had Ryan. I think Ryan Otley did some sketches, so that was fun. Ryan Stegman, Ryan Sook, and you know, we delivered on all of them, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and you know, Nick, and seriously, thanks a lot for doing these. I know the audience just loves it. It actually adds a little extra fun dimension to the panel. We're coming to the end here. The stretch run, the second to last page.
Yeah, this is Thor basically giving up. He's like, you know what? And sitting down in his bed, and Odin just won't leave him alone. And Odin in this panel, I think in the second last panel, Odin tells him why he is not leaving Thor alone, and Thor looks up and is like, what? And then we get to the last page, which leads us straight into the arc that I'm drawing right now.
So this is sort of Thor coming to terms with the situation. Like there's no fighting.
This is Thor learning why, the reason why Odin's soul has not completely gone away, and why he's bothering him, so to say. Yeah. And then we see that last page, and we get a glimpse of why.
And then here's the final page.
And should I spoil? I mean, the issue's been out, so basically, Odin says, you know, I can't go to Valhalla and, you know, live in peace because Valhalla is empty. The doors to Valhalla are broken, and Valhalla is empty, so his spirit cannot rest. That's why he's been bugging Thor. So
is this almost like a mystery arc? You know, you've had the
yeah. I mean, it starts off that way. I'm not going to say any more though.
All right.
I mean, after this issue, the Hulk Thor crossover happens, and then those 2 issues with Thor and Venom, and then we jump back to the to Odin and Valhalla and see what's happening there.
So you're doing about like 8 issues a year, and there's guest artists, fill-in artists for the other issues, something like that.
Yeah.
Is it just a concession to, you know, how long this art takes you?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to be faster, but I'm just not. I mean, I can't. I need about 6 weeks for an issue with cover, and other stuff. You know, other covers stuff comes up here and there. So I wish I could turn out an issue every 4 weeks, but a man's got to sleep sometime too.
It's, you know, it's worth it to maintain this level of quality. And
I mean, like you said, if I had an inker, I would probably, you know, if I outsource except for the pencils, everything, then, you know, obviously I would be faster. But I think obviously it would not look the way it looks. So it's always a two-edged sword. So
looks like we got roughly 10 minutes left. If there are any questions from the audience, you know, feel free to ask them. This is sort of the lightning round for audience participation, audience questions. This is from Robert Riley. He asks, what are the different challenges of drawing a non-action page versus an action page?
Right. Well, I mean, an action page, you want it to be as exciting as possible. And that's hard in itself, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, but you kind of don't want to repeat yourself either. So it's you know, you want to be exciting, and you want to do, you know, good action. That's kind of hard, you know, because a lot of the fight, especially for fight scenes, coming up with new stuff can be really difficult. Because I mean, basically most of the time it's just, you know, people beating each other up. So how many different ways of drawing that can there be? But you gotta you know, work through that. That's the hard part of, you know, that takes part in the layout process, which is always the hardest part, because that's where the actual thinking takes place. The drawing is kind of, you know, just drawing, but the thinking and the laying out and doing the gestural stuff for the body language and the fights, that's the hard part. And for the quiet scenes, you want to not have those be exciting, well, unless something exciting is being talked about, but you want to also not have them look boring, like that one page where that Thor page where he had the funeral page where he had that the big Thor in the background, but he had a panel laid across. You know, there's different ways of, you know, taking a quiet scene and not have it be boring, but you know, also have it be interesting to look at and still convey the sense that you're trying to get across, or the mood that you're trying to get across. Yeah, exactly. That's visually interesting, but it's also quiet. It's not in your face like an action scene should be.
We got a question from Steve Adeletto. Will we see Throg again in your run?
I hope so.
I love
That's
Throg.
my guy.
Yeah.
I love Thor too. And
I hope-
Thor.
I got a question from Ryan Peters. Besides Thor, what title would you love to draw?
Oh wow. I kind of like Hulk. I like drawing a big chunky Hulk. But Ryan is doing an awesome job on that right now. You know, that's a trick question because I'm more than content drawing Thor. So I don't know. I will have to see in 30 years when I'm done drawing Thor. I'm just kidding. But speaking of Throg, I have an actual piece of fan art that I did.
Oh yeah,
Kind of,
show us.
maybe this will get used, so maybe I shouldn't be showing this. But I did like a piece of and Thor with all of his like animal friends, and there's a little. It's really hard to see.
You did that just for the hell of it?
There we go. There's Thor right there and Thor. Yeah, I just did that for personal amusement.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. Would love to see you on a Hercules mini. Any chance? Well, that sort of ties into the other question. What title would you love to draw? But do you like Hercules?
Not. I mean, I'm impartial. I'm not super excited for him, but I'm not. You know.
Tim, I'll ask a question. We've seen you do color on some of your covers. How do you choose which covers you color? We actually covered that earlier, so just have to rewind. That was answered. From Peter Rowe, what are the comic book artists that you are particularly inspired by and why?
Oh wow, this is going to be a huge list, and it's probably split up into like parts of my life, because at different ages I was inspired by different guys. But there's a few people that kind of stuck with me throughout, and one of them obviously is Bernie Wrightson, who's just an amazing draftsman. Then there's Mobius, who I love very much. Well, his art. Walter Simonson. There's so many. I don't know. John Paul Leon, Bill Sienkiewicz. I mean, basically, if you take all the great comic book artists, and those are pretty much. But I started reading in the '90s, so a lot of '90s guys. Well, I was actually reading Extinction Agenda today, which was a great X-Men crossover in the '90s, and those 3 Jim Lee issues, just amazing what him and Scott Williams did. I mean, just the storytelling and the draftsmanship of those issues. I think that those are pretty pinnacle X-Men right there. Yeah, I was just looking at them earlier today, and that stuff is great too. I mean, it just depends on your mood as well. I mean, sometimes you think this is amazing, and the next day it's like, wow, you get inspired by this. Barry Windsor-Smith, obviously, which I know you don't like. I'm not a huge fan of, Felix. Kaluto, Jeff Jones, the whole studio guys. Yeah, I mean, I could probably go. A lot of European guys as well. Mathieu Bonhomme, which is an amazing storyteller, French guy. I don't know. I'm probably forgetting like any artists that
anyone sort of you took inspiration from for the ink wash?
No, I mean that's just that's probably from more of my painting background. The ink wash, it's a way of blocking and textures and giving something more volume. Just a different tool of rendering with. That's more the background of that than any particular artist. I think the ink wash thing that's a thing hasn't been around that long comics either. I mean, I know Reichson did some grayscale coloring, but I don't know if that was ink wash or like markers or something for the eerie and creepy stuff. But yeah, that's been having a comeback, the ink wash stuff. I think there's a couple of artists doing it.
Eric Powell, would use that a lot.
Yeah, and he wasn't even one of those that I had in mind.
From CJ Design, favorite inking tools: brush, pen quill, Copic type pen, or a combo?
All of them, yeah. Anything that leaves a mark.
Okay,
it depends on the mark that you're trying to make.
We got a couple more questions. I'm going to shut. And sorry for anyone else who asked, but we're running out of time. Nick, will we see Black Winter or Galactus again in your Thor run?
Maybe. I'm not going to say.
That's fine.
The chances are probably good, though.
Say no more, Nick. From B and G, do you think about the previous comic incarnations of Thor when approaching being the current Thor creator? And had to ask, who is stronger, Hulk or Thor?
Obviously Thor, if you're asking me. I try. Obviously, you can't get past previous incarnations, and for me that goes with previous artists and their vision of Thor. And you obviously cannot, as a Thor artist, get away from that. I try not to think about it too much because then I would get intimidated. But obviously, I love the Simons and stuff. I love what Olivier did with Straczynski. Olivier is just an amazing artist. So, and the original Kirby stuff, of course, too. Like, there's been so many different great artists, and on the title. Yeah, of course, that's always in the back of your head.
Great. Thanks, Nick, for answering these questions. And let's go on. Let's close out the show with our final claim, sketch number 4, Bill.
All right, let me cue that up and go ahead and tell us about it and let us know what the price is, Felix, when I do.
Here's sketch number 4, and this is 8x12, just like all the others. This is $300, like sketch number 3. This is probably my favorite one of the bunch. Love the lightning coming out of the eyes. Love everything about it. Okay, we got a bunch of claims, and I see Tim L as the first claim 4.
I do as well, and ahead of several other people that would have loved to pick that artwork up.
Mike Sitchy, Eternals again. A lot of these guys double dipping. If you got it, I would have given it to you. Marcus Way, Victor Bracamontes, James Roger, Paul Berzau-Gowie, Matt Todd, Hunter Venable, Peter Rowe, Tim Guerrero, ML. Wow, a lot of claims. Awesome. Hey,
thank you. That's a beauty.
Get a better idea of the textures and great job.
Oh yeah, here we go full screen again on Nick. There we go.
It's textured paper too, so I mean colored paper, so which is great for picking out highlights and going in with a white.
It's beautiful, Nick. It really is. Thank you for doing those as well. Just adds an extra bit of fun for everybody who's participating in the chat and for the weekend. I mean, it means a great deal to me that you've done those, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and for you taking the time today as well, especially being the guy to help us start all the panels off. I mean, we couldn't have asked for a better guest, so thank you so much for doing this.
He's international, so it's pretty late for him.
Exactly. I usually have to relegate my international chats or interviews to something very early on a Saturday or Sunday because I can't get anybody during the week. So yeah, this is fantastic. It worked out great. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, Nick, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you later. But thanks a lot for doing this. Awesome.
All right, take care, everybody. You can sit in this the chat. This will actually redirect over to the Nick Patera chat that is going to start just in a minute or two.